So I decided I think I need to go camping. So I'm gonna grab a few supplies and get the heck out of here. It's kind of late. I think it's like maybe 5:30 to 6 o'clock. So I don't have too much light left. It could be dark by the time I get there. Maybe not, but I think that I'm just kind of in a holding pattern right now, and I'm getting tired of driving in circles around the city, which is what you got to do when you're in town. If you're not doing anything else, like you have to keep driving anyways. You can't keep parking in the same. You can't park in the same spot 24 hours a day, for the most part. There might be a few places you could do that, but why would you want to? So that's when I decided maybe I should just get out of town for a day or two. So I'm gonna go find a place to go camping. I'm gonna grab some firewood and some other basic stuff and kind of go out someplace where I can just relax and not have to move the van, not be surrounded by all this chaos. That's the thing when you're in town, you're for the most part constantly surrounded by chaos. Like there's all these people doing everything. These people go back to their houses so they can escape all this. But when you're doing van life and you're in town, like there's no escape for the most part. In the middle of the night it quiets down, but like there's still gonna be cars passing by and stuff, and it's like you always just feel like you're on edge. And sometimes that's the only reason I want to go camping, is just to get a break from all that. Just the fact that I enjoy camping is a benefit. So let me go grab some things and hit the road. I can't see a damn thing out here, so I'm just gonna park it here for the night. Hopefully that's okay, and then as soon as I get some daylight, I'm gonna drive around. I'll drive and see if I can find a better spot when there's daylight and I can see what's going on. So quiet out there, you could hear a pin drop. That's crazy. Okay, so that's as good as it's gonna get. I'll go back in the back and see how bad it is, but I'm not even gonna try to start this generator. It's like 32 degrees outside, and this thing has not been happy with the cold weather lately. So I think I would just be freezing my ass off for nothing. And anyways, yeah, I've got the bed ready to go. And I'm going to try and get a nap in so that I can wake up where there's still some daylight, and then maybe I can start the generator then. Let me check here if I can remember where this thing's at. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of the direction I want it to go, because that way I don't roll out of the bed while I'm sleeping. I'll just roll into the backside, and that's fine. So yeah, I'm gonna get some sleep, and then I'm gonna get up, and then we're gonna hopefully I'll have some daylight when I wake up. I'm gonna grill up some steaks. I got some, picked up a couple steaks right there, and then get those batteries charging, and just whatever else I need to do out here. So I was out there trying to start the generator, and the handle just broke on me. So all that work I did the other day to fix the cord, and now I gotta go back inside and do, like, I gotta take the whole thing apart all over again. The cord didn't break, it's just that the little knot that was holding the handle itself on, I guess, came undone. I don't know how that's even possible, but it did. And so the cord, the handle came off in my hand, and the cord got sucked back down inside the thing so far that I got to disassemble the whole thing, take that whole thing off, pull the cord out so that I can actually have enough to tie it back in again. So that means no battery power today. I'm going to have to rely on the solar panels. The only good thing is that it's not hot enough to where I have to use the air conditioner right now. But still, I mean, for some reason I'm using like probably 150 to 200 watts of power on, I don't know what. Here's, like, that's something else I got to work on figuring out, like, where is all this power usage coming from? Because I've tried to look before, and I've started like unplugging things, but I'm not seeing like anything that makes sense on the battery monitor, like as far as the watts go. Like, it just doesn't, it's not quite making sense. I need more time to sit there and figure that out. I just can't imagine what's using all this power. Like the refrigerator maybe, but then when the refrigerator goes off, there's still a bunch of extra power. So I have to trace that down and figure out. I know it's coming from the inverter. There's some stuff coming from directly from DC that uses a little bit of power. I don't even know what that is, but like some kind of vampire electronics or something that's just consuming power 24/7, but whatever's on the AC side is using all the power. So if I turn the inverter off, I'm back down to like 10 to 20 watts or something like that. So I gotta take some time to figure out what's using all that power, but that's not gonna happen right now. So right now, I gotta go back to sleep. I just woke up to try and start the generator, and that was a fail. So I'm gonna have to deal with that another time as well. So this place ended up being like, it's louder here than it is if I were to be parked somewhere in the middle of the city, like that I would normally park. And that's primarily because right behind me, we have some people that just pulled in. Set up like some sort of a tent city over there, right behind me. Other than that, like, it is unbelievably quiet out here. Like you could hear a pin drop last night. You're literally in the middle of nowhere in this BLM land. But I mean, it is Friday, so the weekends can get pretty busy, you know, and so I guess these guys are trying to get a head start on the weekend. But come on, man. That, and with my generator not gonna run now, I mean, I gotta fix that again. So I may as well just be back in the city. So I'm gonna get out of here. Now Google Maps wants me to go this way out here, but I came in the opposite way. That's a little sketchy because, yeah, there's roads, but you know, some of these roads are like, they could be like this, right? Literally just ATV trails. But Google Maps thinks that that's a road, and so I could get out there and it could be like 4-wheel drive only, right? And now I'm like, got to backtrack the whole way. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to go back the way I came, because I also want to see, there's a couple other pullouts that I want to check out too. I couldn't see them because it was pitch black last night. So I'm going to get out of here and start heading back. Yeah, if you like dust and dirt and loud dirt bikes, like, this is a great place. All right, well, I'm not gonna get out there and walk around these rocks, even though I would like to do that. I just don't feel like doing that. Again, I barely slept last night, so I'm gonna get out of here. Although I could just park it right here for a minute and just use this opportunity to fix my generator again. I just don't know if I feel like doing that right now. Let me give that some thought, because it does have to be fixed eventually. So, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use this opportunity where there's just some open space and not too much going on, to go ahead and go back there and disassemble this generator again and fix the string again. Except this time I got a plan. I'm gonna leave it way longer. I'm gonna wrap it around the handle at the end, so that way it doesn't happen again. Or at least what happened is not gonna happen again. And I think it could still fray and break, but that's not gonna happen for a while. But it's not gonna slip out of that handle again. That much is not gonna happen. So this is as good a place as any. I think if I go back into town, if I go back there, I'm not gonna have as many places I can pull over and do this, so I'm just gonna do this real quick now. Okay, halfway there. I've only stripped one screw. That screw got stripped, but I still was barely able to get it out. Those things are garbage. Got all this stuff out, and so now I've got this bolt almost out. This is the hard one to get to, and I'm going to get the other two out, and I'm going to pull that thing out and rewind that thing with some more cord. But I think it's going to get colder and possibly even rain the next couple days, so I don't want to be out here doing this during that time, nor do I want to try and fix this thing outside if it's any colder or even raining, so I had to do this now. Okay, and now that I'm in here looking around, I see another problem. Like this switch, I've always felt was like a little bit wobbly. Like it's, sometimes if you try and turn, it's like, see how it comes out, you try and turn it, it gets stuck, and you got to just, so now that I'm looking at, that got this cover off, I can see that this whole bolt is loose. Like the whole assembly is loose, right? That bolt right there is loose, so I'm going to tighten that up if I can get to it and see if that helps at all with the functioning of that switch, because that cable is like off the track, right? So if this thing is loose like that, you run the risk of that thing getting all screwed up. So, and I think that's just the issue with these cheap generators. They just slap them together, don't put too much care into how tight the bolts are. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that while I'm in here. All right, so I was able to get a wrench in there and get that tightened down. So now the whole assembly is tight, and apparently it was loose from the beginning, because look how far, look at that gap. That was never there. This switch always sat flush against this face, but now that I tighten this up, it pushed it out, which means it came loose. So now it functions 10 times better. And the back side, it's just nice and tight now. So that's just amazing. You know, like I wonder what else is all fucked up on this thing. But anyways, I got one more bolt left. I can pull this thing out. Okay, so I ran into another problem. This bolt here feels like it's stripped, and I don't even know how that's possible, but I keep turning it, and it has like a really grinding kind of feel to it, and it ain't coming out. So the bolt is turning, but if it's not, it doesn't feel smooth, and it's not moving at all. So that tells me that, I mean, the only thing it could be is that it's stripped. So that's a problem that I don't know how I'm gonna deal with. So let me just fool around with this a little bit more. I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous. Look at these guys. This guy in the travel trailer is trying to pass up these two ATVs on this bumpy ass road. What's wrong with people? Alright, so by taking a screwdriver and prying while I was twisting, this came out, but the whole thing came out. So that means the bolt is, I don't know that the screw is stripped so much as it is that this thing was just stripped or coming loose. So this thing was probably turning. So if I put some pliers on this, it would probably come out. But like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell is this shit all about? So, like, this is just, I don't know what's supposed to hold this in place. I think what happened was, as I accidentally had it on Tighten when I put this back on here and I didn't realize it, and I probably started tightening this, and the bolt can't go anymore. So this whole thing just started turning, and this whole thing started stripping in that hole. And so then that's why this whole thing started turning when I tried to loosen it. But still, that's a shitty design that I don't know if I can fix. But maybe I can get by without it. Apparently you just got to be really gentle when you tighten these things up. So, but now that this is out, I'm going to pull this thing out and put a new one in again, and see if I can put this back together. Yeah, this is a terrible place to try and camp. Highly don't recommend it. So loud. So this is, I'm looking at this handle here, and the knot slipped through. Granted, I only had a small knot in there, but I think ideally I would like to put a small like washer in there, because the plastic can stretch, right? But the metal is not going to stretch. So if you pull hard enough and the plastic were to stretch or break and then the knot goes through there, then that's a problem. But with the washer, you would fix that. The only problem is I'm not 100% sure. I have some of those washers, I just don't know where they're at. And I think they might be up there in that top thing with some of the rest of my screws. I think that's where they're at. And that means I got to get a ladder out. I got to get inside. Like, it's just a little bit of a pain in the ass. So this is one of those dilemmas where I'm looking at doing a job, and it's like, if I really want to do it right, then I need a lot of extra time, because now I got to go up there and deal with all that. But if you don't have the time, then you do it half-ass. So which do you do? Right? Do you do it half-ass and, you know, save some time and just get it done, or do you put it off or take the extra time and go all the way up there and deal with this? So it's like you got to make these judgment calls, and a lot of times I just do things the half-ass way just to get the repair done, because I don't have the extra time right now to be spending and doing all this extra stuff. So I think that's the way I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to make the knot extra big and hope for the best, because I don't feel like I'm already taking time that I wasn't planning on spending, and I don't want to take another extra hour to go up there and unpack all that, get what I need, and then repack it. And then there's a chance that I get up inside there and what I'm looking for is not even up there. Like, it's somewhere else. So I'm just gonna go without this time. But I think like if I were doing this in my storage unit and all my tools were out, I definitely would grab the washer and I would put that inside there first and make the knot over top of that. It's just when you're out here, sometimes you just got to do the things that however you do them. I'm on my second one of these now. So this time I'm doing the Liquid Death, which is only 100 milligrams of caffeine. So this is half of what I normally do. So now I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to do this one, and if I think I need another one later, and I think that works a lot better than just drinking 200 milligrams back to back. Sometimes that's too much, but sometimes one of these little 100 milligrams just hits the spot just right. So, and that's all you need. And now I can see this little camera holder tripod thing that I've been using is also broken. Like, just I kind of had enough with this cheap plastic bullshit. Like, man, that's terrible. Okay, so finally have this thing fed through. This is the absolute hardest part, getting it through that hole, which is way too small for all this stuff at the end. I used a pair of pliers, but I also have one of these things, which I didn't feel like going out and getting the last time, because I didn't feel like going out, like, just, so I used tweezers and that worked. But this is a little bit better because this can force that through that hole. I'm going to use a lot of extra rope this time, and I'm going to go ahead and feed this through this thing, wind this back up, put it back together, and then secure the handle, put this all back together. And maybe I'll even try and start it again, just to make sure that the last time it started wasn't just a fluke, and that it'll actually start up for me again on demand. So let me go ahead and finish putting this together. So I actually took a lighter and I melted this knot a little bit, not like too much. I mean, it started to burn there, but I just kind of want to melt this material together so it has less of a chance of coming undone, because now it's all fused together. So I don't want to have to deal with this again, unless the line just frays in the middle and breaks, but that's different. I don't want to deal with these knots coming out, so I'm just going to do that on both ends. I'm going to just burn this a little bit, melt the material together so that it's not just going to unravel on its own. I think I'm going to take a break and go stand on that rock for a minute. I gotta say, I am a sucker for rock outcroppings. This is nice. There's somebody out there shooting in the distance. Yeah, this is nice when it's actually quiet. Oh, man. So quiet, it's almost deafening out here. Okay, so I'm having a little bit of trouble getting that thing back in. Just does not want to go in there. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it. I can't fit a hammer in there, so I have to use pressure. I guess I'll just keep at it and see if I can finally get it to get in there and sit flush like these guys. Just don't know if that's gonna happen or not. Okay, I don't think that there's any way I can get the leverage to force that thing in there, because every time I push on it, the plastic just bends. So it's not like you can't push it in because the plastic bends and this thing just goes with it. And so I feel like the only way I can really get that in there is if I took this plastic shroud off, which I'm counting at least 1, 2, and maybe 2 on the other side bolts, and that there's no guarantee that I have, at least from my knowledge, that this thing will just come right off. You know, I don't see any reason why this just wouldn't be a cover that allows this thing to attach to turn that thing when you yank the handle. I don't think it would be connected to anything else, but it could be, and it could be hard to maneuver out of this opening. Like, you may have to go and take some of all this other stuff off just to get that out. And that's if you can even get to some of these bolts. I don't know if that's even possible. Like down here, that might be extremely difficult to get to that bolt right there, just because these things are in the way. Oh yeah, and I forgot I dropped a bolt right here. I got to get that out. So I may just try and pull that back out of there and just go without for now and see if I can. God damn, I need a magnet or something. I can't. There it is. You drop a bolt in here, man, you're done. You just, good luck getting it out. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna pull this back out, and hopefully 2 is enough to hold this thing secure to where I can start it. And then I'll just have to try and maybe fix this on a day when I have like 3 days of nothing to do, and I have the time to sit there and disassemble this entire thing and fix it properly. This is ridiculous. So I can't get this bolt in because this plastic piece juts out. It's in the way. You can't see a damn thing. You can barely reach your fingers back there. And this is the same thing that I need to take off to fix this other thing. But why this shroud needs to stick out this far, other than to make it impossible to put this bolt in, is beyond me. So now I got to use like a mirror and a magnet to try and get it into the hole. I'm so over this generator bullshit. I think the only people that give good reviews to these Predators are people who've used them for like maybe a week, and they're all excited because they got a generator and they didn't have to spend the money to get a Honda or something good. They think they're getting a deal, but you're not getting a deal on these things. With you add in all this other bullshit that you got to deal with, this is no deal. Count me out. Let's hope it stays in there. Okay, so I found the secret to threading this paracord through these tiny little holes, which you're never going to get that through there by the time you try and jam it through, and this stuff starts fraying and all that. Like, it's just not going to work. So what I did that worked, if I can find the end, is you cut it off cleanly, right? You cut all this frayed stuff off, like say right here, right? You pull this up as far as it'll go. You cut it cleanly, and then you take the cigarette lighter and you melt the end, and then before it hardens, you squeeze it to a point like this, you know, as best as you can while it's still soft. And so that way, you go to put it into this thing, it just fits right through, no problem. Like, that is, this whole time I've been struggling with this taken like 20 minutes just to feed this thing through, and this just went through like in half a second. So got to make a note to myself on that for next time. Okay, so I got this through here and I wrapped excess around the handle, so that's going to all but guarantee that this thing's not going to fall off again like it did last time. And so the only thing left to do is to see if it'll start up in its current condition. So now, not only do I have just the fact that the Predator doesn't like to start anymore working against me, but I also have the fact that I only have 2 bolts holding on this coil that starts it. So hopefully that's going to keep it secure enough for this thing to pull. So I'm going to try and start it and just see if it's going to work. Is that a mosquito? If it is, I got to get out of here. I'm going to try and start it real quick, and then we'll see if it works, and then I'm going to get out of here for real. Oh man, those are mosquitoes. Now there's like a million of them. Oh my God. Seems all right. Okay, so that was a success. So now, we'll let that run for a minute. And then I'm going to shut it down, pack up, and get the hell out of here. Look at the sun hitting the tops of these mountains. So I think I'm just going to actually camp here for the night. I mean, it's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, whether I stay here or go back at this hour anyway. So since I got a decent spot, I'm going to do that. I just need to grab leveling blocks because I'm not quite the level that I want to be at, and especially now that the generator's running, if I stay here I can just let it run, get maybe 25% more charge in my batteries. If I leave, I doubt I'm going to be able to do that tonight. Like, I don't think I'm going to find a spot where I can do that. So this is going to be camp for the night, and let me get this thing leveled. So I'm feeling the stresses of being in a small space right now. I was trying to get this Gamma Seal lid onto this 5-gallon bucket, and to do that you have to have a heat gun. There's no way. I mean, maybe if it's already in a you're in a warm climate, you might be able to snap that on there without too much issue. But if it's the slightest bit cold, it's not going to work. So dug the heat gun out, then I had to get the battery. I couldn't find the battery. Then I thought that I had dug through the container up there. I couldn't find it. Then I came back here, started digging through this container, couldn't find it. And I was getting irritated because things were like all chaotic and in the way. And in throwing this thing to the back, I knocked over my drink, spilled that, half the drink all over the counter, all over the floor, all over this thing, which I just got done gluing to try and fix that. So I don't know if that screwed up the glue, and now I'm gonna have to do that all over again. And then I was like, okay, so now I did it. I left the battery in my little storage unit, right? Because I'm trying to get rid of stuff that I don't need, to get rid of the clutter so I don't have to deal with what I'm dealing with right this second. And so instead of I still have a giant pile of stuff up there, which I feel like I might need. That's why it's there. But at the same time, the batteries, which I might need, I put in storage. So then I'm all like pissed off about that situation. And then finally I grab a light and I go back up there and I look again and I find it, and it's in that box. I just couldn't see it because it was at the bottom and it was so dark up there. Even with the light on up at the top, it was just too dark to see in the bottom without a regular flashlight to go down in there. So I got that back on. I got the heat gun working. I got this thing on there, so that's great. But there's just so much clutter and chaos around here that needs to be dealt with, but I'm not sure how to deal with it, because there's some stuff that I might need now and then, but the problem is if I put it into one of these storage containers, which are really nice, I forget where I put it. And looking for it later, it's like this one up in between the two front seats has got like a million things in it, and I can't find it. There's just it's dark. There's no organization. I don't remember what I put in there. I'll just randomly take stuff to get it out of the way. It's like this is in the way and I don't have a designated place for it, so I just throw it somewhere. And I don't make a mental note of it, so then when I go to grab it later, I can't find it at all. And I go through what I just went through. So with all that being setting the stage, this is what's on the menu next, so I can cope with some of this stress. I'm going to skip the beer and go straight to this stuff. Not the butter, that's just there to soften up, because I bought some of this stuff, which is absolutely delicious. This rustic oven sourdough bread, which I don't usually like. I try not to eat carbohydrates, but once in a while, oh my god, this stuff is, I could live on this stuff. It's so good. But you need some soft butter to deal with that. But I'm gonna throw a big ice cube in there, pour some of that, and I think I've got some soda I can mix with that, and that should help take the edge off of this. I am not gonna have a chance to grill up these steaks. I mean, at least I'm getting the battery, some charging in my batteries. I think that by the time this runs out of gas, I could be up to around 80%. That's gonna be around midnight or so. And I forgot that I'm not gonna be sleeping tonight, so it doesn't matter how level I am I'm parked right now. Although somebody did. These people have no camping etiquette here. I don't know if you can see these people right here, this truck and this giant travel trailer. Yeah, they just pulled up like right behind me, to the point where it's like I don't even know if I can drive out of here, because to the front there's a cliff, a giant boulder, and a little fire pit, that's got some ashes and wood that's still stuck in there. So I have to drive maybe over top of that fire pit just to get out of here. So I'll probably leave at like 6 in the morning. But how you gonna park literally right next to somebody like that? That's crazy. So these steaks that I'm not gonna have a chance to grill up, I'm gonna go ahead and freeze those. Believe it or not, I do have a vacuum sealer in this van. It's just for that reason, which is probably part of my problem, is I just keep too much stuff in here. But I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to dig it out, and that's part of the problem, is when I need something, I got to dig for it, and I don't feel like doing that because I got to move all this stuff. So instead, this method works really good. I'm going to use some of this stuff to wrap the steaks, make sure they're airtight, and once they're wrapped up really good, I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag, and then they're going into the freezer, and I'll have those for later, and they freeze really well, and when they come out, they grill up. You can even grill them straight from frozen, and they don't taste like they've been frozen at all. So steaks seem to handle that pretty well. So I'm gonna process those later. I'm gonna do that now, and I'm gonna call it a night. As far as doing stuff, I'm still gonna do some other stuff, but I'm not working on anything anymore. No more projects. I'm done for the night.